Welcome to the Aconic Bookshelf. Today, we will be listening to the audiobook title, Social Intelligence. The Art of Human Connection in a Complex World. Social intelligence is more than a skill. It's an art. It's the ability to connect, empathize, and navigate relationships in a world that grows more interconnected and complex by the day. As we increasingly interact across cultures, through digital mediums, and within fast-changing social dynamics, the ability to understand and respond appropriately to the people around us becomes not just valuable, it becomes essential. At its core, social intelligence involves being aware of others' emotions, intentions, and needs, and responding in a way that fosters trust, understanding, and mutual respect. It's not just about saying the right thing or following a script. It's about reading the room, tuning into subtle cues, and adjusting your behavior in real time. It is an elegant dance between self-awareness and social awareness, where the rhythm is set by the emotional undercurrents of any given interaction. Unlike technical or academic intelligence, which can often be measured and evaluated through standardized tests, social intelligence is fluid, dynamic, and deeply contextual. It cannot be memorized or replicated by rote. It is learned through experience, sharpened through observation, and perfected through empathy. While some people may seem naturally gifted in this area, the good news is that social intelligence can be developed by anyone who is willing to observe, reflect, and practice. Empathy lies at the heart of social intelligence. To empathize is to step outside your own perspective and experience the world as someone else does. It's the foundation of all meaningful relationships, personal and professional alike. When you genuinely understand what someone else is feeling, you're better equipped to respond in a way that acknowledges their reality and meets their emotional needs. This builds trust and deepens connection. However, empathy is not simply about feeling others' emotions, it also involves a cognitive component, understanding why someone feels the way they do. This deeper understanding allows us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, a socially intelligent leader doesn't just notice when a team member seems stressed. They take the time to understand the cause and then offer support in a way that is considerate and appropriate. In doing so, they create an environment where people feel seen, heard, and valued. In today's complex social landscape, another essential component of social intelligence is adaptability. The way we communicate in a corporate boardroom is vastly different from how we interact at a casual social gathering or in an online discussion forum. The socially intelligent individual knows how to adjust their tone, language, and behavior to suit the context, without compromising authenticity. They are perceptive enough to recognize social cues and flexible sufficient to respond accordingly. But adaptability isn't just about fitting in. It's about being effective in your communication while maintaining your integrity. It's knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to assert and when to yield, and how to align your message with the needs and expectations of your audience. This balance between self-expression and social harmony is what makes social intelligence such a powerful tool. Moreover, social intelligence is crucial for conflict resolution. In any group, disagreements are inevitable. But what distinguishes healthy relationships and effective teams is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to navigate it constructively. A socially intelligent person can remain calm under pressure, acknowledge different viewpoints, and guide discussions toward resolution rather than escalation. They de-escalate tension not by suppressing conflict but by managing it skillfully and respectfully. In our increasingly globalized world, cultural intelligence, an offshoot of social intelligence, is also becoming indispensable. Understanding and respecting cultural differences, avoiding assumptions, and communicating across cultural boundaries require heightened sensitivity and awareness. What may be considered polite or respectful in one culture may be interpreted quite differently in another. Socially intelligent individuals take the time to learn these nuances and approach cross-cultural interactions with curiosity and humility. It's also important to consider how technology is reshaping our social landscapes. With so much of our communication happening through screens, the cues we once relied on, tone of voice, facial expression, body language, are often missing or distorted. Developing social intelligence in the digital age means learning how to read between the lines, interpret subtleties in written communication, and remain emotionally attuned even when physically distant. Social intelligence isn't just about getting along with others. It's about thriving in any social environment. It enhances leadership, improves teamwork, deepens friendships, and strengthens families. It empowers us to inspire, influence, and collaborate more effectively. In a society that values emotional well-being and strong interpersonal connections, those who master the art of social intelligence hold a powerful advantage. This book is your guide to that mastery. Through real-life examples, practical exercises, and insights drawn from psychology, neuroscience, and communication studies, it will help you build the awareness, empathy, and adaptability needed to succeed in any human interaction. Whether you're looking to become a better leader, a more compassionate friend, or simply more confident in your social encounters, the path begins here. Social intelligence is not about manipulation or charm. It's about authenticity, awareness, and respect. It's about seeing others as whole people, complex, unique, and worthy of understanding. In this way, social intelligence is more than just a tool for success. It's a path to deeper human connection in an increasingly disconnected world. And mastering it truly is an art. Chapter 1. Understanding Social Intelligence. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had. F. Scott Fitzgerald. At its foundation, social intelligence is the capacity to effectively navigate and negotiate complex social relationships and environments. While many people are aware of the importance of IQ and, more recently, emotional intelligence, EQ, social intelligence, often abbreviated as SQ, remains underrecognized despite being just as critical to success and fulfillment in life. What is social intelligence? The term social intelligence was first coined in 1920 by psychologist Edward Thorndike, who defined it as the ability to understand and manage men and women, boys and girls, to act wisely in human relations. Although Thorndike's definition was simple, it opened the door for further exploration of how we understand and respond to the people around us. Social intelligence is distinct from emotional intelligence, though the two often work hand in hand. While emotional intelligence refers to understanding and regulating your own emotions and those of others, social intelligence focuses more on behavior within social contexts, how we communicate, influence, cooperate, and manage relationships. At its heart, social intelligence is practical. It governs how we interpret social cues, adjust our behavior, and build rapport. It helps us identify what's appropriate in a given situation, read between the lines of what people are saying, and respond with tact and authenticity. The core components of social intelligence. Social intelligence comprises three interrelated components: empathy, social awareness, and interpersonal skills. Each of these elements builds on the others and contributes to a well-rounded capacity to engage meaningfully with people from all walks of life. 1. Empathy. Empathy is the ability to recognize and share the feelings of another person. It's the bridge between our internal world and the emotional experiences of others. There are two types of empathy: emotional empathy, which is the ability to feel what someone else is feeling, and cognitive empathy, which is the ability to understand what someone else might be thinking or experiencing, even if you do not share their emotions. Empathy is essential for building trust and emotional intimacy. It allows us to step outside of our own perspective and view the world through someone else's lens. In a professional context, empathy helps leaders support their teams, helps colleagues work more effectively together, and enhances customer and client relationships. In our personal lives, it strengthens bonds with friends, family, and partners, making relationships more resilient and nurturing. 2. Social awareness. Social awareness is the ability to pick up on social cues, such as body language, tone of voice, group dynamics, and cultural context. It's what enables us to recognize unspoken rules, gauge the mood of a room, and understand how others are reacting to us and to each other. Socially aware individuals are finely attuned to their environment and able to sense subtle shifts in energy and tone. Being socially aware also means being sensitive to differences, whether cultural, generational, or situational. For instance, The way you communicate in a casual gathering among friends may not be appropriate in a corporate meeting. Social intelligence enables you to adjust your approach without being inauthentic, ensuring that your message is received as intended. 3. Interpersonal skills. While empathy and awareness are largely perceptual, interpersonal skills are behavioral. They reflect how we act in social situations. This includes our ability to initiate conversations, listen actively, persuade or influence others, handle feedback, collaborate effectively, and resolve conflicts. Strong interpersonal skills also encompass qualities like patience, diplomacy, and the ability to manage difficult conversations with grace. In essence, interpersonal skills are the tools that allow us to turn empathy and awareness into action. They are what transform understanding into connection and insight into influence. Why social intelligence matters. In today's interconnected, fast-paced, and increasingly digital world, the ability to form meaningful relationships is more important than ever. While technical skills and academic knowledge can open doors, it is often social intelligence that determines whether those doors remain open. Employers consistently rank communication and teamwork among the most valued professional skills. In leadership roles, social intelligence is vital for motivating teams, mediating conflicts, and fostering a culture of trust. But beyond professional success, social intelligence contributes to personal well-being. Human beings are social creatures by nature. We crave connection, understanding, and belonging. Social intelligence nurtures these needs. It helps us form deeper friendships, more satisfying romantic relationships, and stronger family bonds. It allows us to feel more confident and comfortable in a variety of social settings, from networking events to holiday dinners. Moreover, people with high social intelligence tend to have lower levels of stress and anxiety in social situations. They know how to read feedback and adjust their behavior in ways that reduce friction and misunderstanding. This doesn't mean they never face social difficulties, but they are better equipped to navigate them with confidence and clarity. The development of social intelligence. Like any form of intelligence, social intelligence can be cultivated. While some individuals may appear naturally gifted in social settings, others can develop these skills through practice and intention. Social intelligence is not about being extroverted, charming, or manipulative. It's about being attuned, present, and authentic. One of the first steps in developing social intelligence is increasing self-awareness. How do you come across in conversations? Do you interrupt or dominate discussions? Are you genuinely listening, or just waiting for your turn to speak? Reflecting on your own communication habits can reveal patterns that either enhance or hinder your social interactions. Next, cultivate curiosity about others. Ask open-ended questions. Pay attention to people's responses, not just their words, but their tone, body language, and energy. Practice putting yourself in others' shoes and check your assumptions. Sometimes, what you interpret as rudeness may actually be stress, insecurity, or distraction. Finally, seek feedback and remain open to growth. Social intelligence is not a fixed trait. It evolves with experience, reflection, and willingness to improve. By remaining humble and committed to learning, you'll become more adept at navigating the rich and often unpredictable terrain of human relationships. The link between social and emotional intelligence. Though distinct, social and emotional intelligence often overlap and reinforce each other. Emotional intelligence helps you understand and regulate your own emotions, while social intelligence helps you manage relationships and social environments. Together, they create a powerful synergy. When you're in tune with your own emotions, you're less likely to project negativity onto others or misread their intentions. Similarly, when you're socially intelligent, you're more likely to express your emotions in constructive ways that support connection rather than conflict. A foundation for the chapters ahead. This chapter lays the groundwork for everything that follows. As we move forward, we'll explore the practical applications of social intelligence in various contexts. In leadership, in conflict resolution, in cross-cultural communication, and in digital spaces. We'll break down the skills and strategies you can use to become more effective, empathetic, and agile in your social interactions. Understanding social intelligence is not about becoming a perfect communicator or a master manipulator. It's about becoming more human, more attuned to yourself and others, more skilled in expressing care, and more confident in your ability to create positive relationships. In a world that often feels divided and distracted, social intelligence offers a path back to connection. It reminds us that relationships are not just a part of life, they are life. And learning to navigate them with intelligence and grace is one of the most valuable investments we can make. Chapter 2. The Science Behind Connection. We are wired to connect. Matthew Lieberman. At the heart of every meaningful relationship, every team collaboration, and every moment of empathy lies a fundamental truth. Humans are inherently social beings. From our earliest days as infants gazing into our caregivers' eyes to the intricate networks we build as adults, our brains are constantly seeking connection. Social intelligence is not just a psychological construct, it is deeply rooted in our biology. This chapter explores the fascinating science behind human connection and what it reveals about our capacity to build relationships, understand others, and thrive in social environments. The brain's social architecture. One of the most groundbreaking revelations in neuroscience over the past few decades is that our brains are, quite literally, wired for social interaction. According to neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman, who has dedicated much of his research to understanding the social brain, the regions involved in social cognition are so central to our functioning that the brain defaults to them during periods of rest. In other words, when we're not engaged in a specific task, our brains naturally shift toward thinking about other people and our relationships with them. The role of the amygdala. The amygdala, a small almond-shaped cluster of neurons deep within the brain, plays a crucial role in processing emotions, especially those related to fear, threat, and trust. It helps us quickly assess whether someone is a friend or a foe, often before we consciously realize it. This rapid appraisal is an evolutionary advantage. In early human history, being able to instantly read facial expressions or detect hostile intent could mean the difference between survival and danger. In modern life, the amygdala continues to influence our social behavior. It helps us pick up on subtle emotional cues, such as a shift in someone's tone of voice or body language. While this function can sometimes lead to overreactions or snap judgments, it also equips us with a vital tool for navigating social complexity. Mirror neurons and empathy. Discovered in the early 1990s, mirror neurons are specialized brain cells that activate both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing the same action. For example, watching someone smile can trigger the same brain activity in you as if you were smiling yourself. This mirroring mechanism is a fundamental part of empathy. It helps us intuitively feel what others are experiencing. This neural mirroring goes beyond just physical imitation. It allows us to emotionally catch the feelings of those around us. If you've ever felt yourself becoming anxious in a room full of stressed people, or uplifted when someone shares joyful news, that's mirror neurons at work. This biological empathy is essential for social bonding, as it fosters a sense of shared experience and emotional resonance. The prefrontal cortex and social decision-making. The prefrontal cortex, particularly the medial prefrontal cortex, plays a major role in perspective-taking, moral reasoning, and the ability to anticipate how others might feel in response to our actions. This area helps us regulate our behavior, consider consequences, and make ethical decisions, all of which are key components of social intelligence. When we weigh whether to give a friend difficult feedback or how to handle a tense workplace situation, it's this part of the brain that helps us navigate with both tact and integrity. It is also responsible for self-reflection, allowing us to consider how our actions affect others and how we're perceived in social contexts. The role of hormones in connection. Neuroscience isn't just about neurons, it's also about chemicals. Hormones and neurotransmitters serve as the body's communication system, influencing everything from our mood to our impulse control. In social interactions, a few key hormones play outsized roles in shaping our responses. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Often referred to as the love hormone or bonding hormone, oxytocin is released during physical touch, eye contact, and moments of trust and intimacy. It enhances prosocial behaviors like generosity, empathy, and cooperation. For example, studies have shown that people given a nasal spray of oxytocin tend to become more trusting and generous toward others, though this effect is moderated by context and previous experiences. Oxytocin strengthens emotional bonds between parents and children, romantic partners, and even between teammates or co-workers. It's one reason why shared experiences, whether a deep conversation or a team project, can bring people closer together. Cortisol, the stress hormone. On the flip side, cortisol, commonly known as the stress hormone, can hinder social connection. When we feel threatened, anxious, or overwhelmed, cortisol levels spike, prompting the classic fight-or-flight response. While this is a protective mechanism, chronic stress can impair our ability to listen, empathize, and communicate clearly. In social settings, elevated cortisol can make us more defensive, irritable, or withdrawn, undermining relationships rather than strengthening them. It's no surprise that high-stress environments often correlate with poor teamwork and strained interpersonal dynamics. Managing stress, then, is not just a matter of personal wellness, it's essential for healthy social functioning. Practical applications of the science. Understanding the science behind connection empowers us to be more intentional about how we relate to others. By aligning our behavior with our biological wiring, we can cultivate stronger, more satisfying relationships in both personal and professional spheres. 1. Mindfulness and emotional regulation. Mindfulness, the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment, has been shown to reduce cortisol levels and enhance activity in brain regions associated with empathy and self-awareness. When we are mindful, we're better able to regulate emotional responses, remain calm in tense situations, and truly listen to others without jumping to conclusions. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require hours of meditation. It can be as simple as pausing to take a deep breath before responding to someone, noticing your emotional state during a conversation, or reflecting on your interactions at the end of the day. 2. Active listening. Active listening is more than hearing someone's words. It's about being fully present, showing genuine interest, and responding with empathy. Neuroscience supports its effectiveness. When people feel heard, their brain's reward centers light up, releasing oxytocin and reinforcing positive social bonds. To practice active listening, make eye contact. Avoid interrupting. Reflect what you hear. What I'm hearing is. Ask clarifying questions. Show empathy through verbal and non-verbal cues. This kind of attentiveness signals safety and respect, which encourages openness and trust. 3. Creating connection rituals. Simple, consistent social rituals can activate bonding hormones and promote trust. These can include team check-ins, family dinners, morning greetings, or even shared jokes. Repetition and predictability in social interactions create emotional safety and reinforce a sense of belonging. A deeper understanding of ourselves. By exploring the science behind connection, we gain not only insight into others but also a deeper understanding of ourselves. Our social behaviors are not random. They're rooted in neural patterns and chemical signals shaped by millions of years of evolution. And while our biology provides the blueprint, we have the power to shape how we use it. Recognizing when we're being hijacked by stress, choosing to pause and breathe, responding with empathy instead of reactivity, these are small but profound ways we can use science to become more socially intelligent. Looking ahead. In the chapters to come, we'll explore how to apply this knowledge in real-world contexts: leadership, conflict resolution, digital communication, and more. But it starts here, with understanding the invisible forces that guide our every interaction. We are, as Lieberman so aptly put it, wired to connect. That wiring gives us an incredible capacity for compassion, cooperation, and community. The more we understand the science behind it, the better equipped we are to build lives rich in meaning, trust, and human connection. Chapter 3. The Power of Empathy. When we honestly ask ourselves which person in our lives means the most to us, we often find it is those who, instead of giving advice, solutions, or cures, have chosen rather to share our pain and touch our wounds with a warm and tender hand. Henri Nouwen. Empathy lies at the heart of what it means to be human. It is the invisible thread that weaves people together, creating bonds of trust, understanding, and mutual care. In the landscape of social intelligence, empathy is the cornerstone, the essential ingredient that allows us to connect meaningfully with others. Without it, relationships become superficial, communication becomes transactional, and human connection suffers. In this chapter, we explore the multifaceted nature of empathy, how it functions, what hinders it, and how we can intentionally cultivate it in our lives and interactions. By understanding the power of empathy, we unlock a deeper level of social awareness and open the door to more authentic relationships. Understanding the 3 types of empathy. Empathy is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It comprises 3 interrelated but distinct types, each serving a unique function in human interaction. 1. Cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand what someone else is thinking or feeling. It involves perspective-taking, putting yourself in another person's shoes and imagining their inner world. This type of empathy allows us to anticipate how others might react, tailor our communication, and engage more effectively in social situations. For example, a manager with strong cognitive empathy can predict how team members might feel during organizational changes and adjust their messaging accordingly. It's a skill that supports diplomacy, negotiation, and conflict resolution. However, cognitive empathy alone can be emotionally detached. It allows us to analyze and predict emotions without necessarily feeling them. In its absence, misunderstandings and insensitivity are common. In excess without emotional depth, it can be used manipulatively. 2. Emotional empathy. Emotional empathy is the capacity to actually feel what another person is feeling. It goes beyond intellect and touches the heart. When you wince at someone's pain or feel joyful in their success, that's emotional empathy at work. This form of empathy fosters deep emotional connections and shared experiences. It is what makes someone cry during a friend's heartbreak or swell with pride at a loved one's achievement. Emotional empathy fuels compassion and nurtures a sense of togetherness. However, emotional empathy can be overwhelming, especially in environments where people are consistently exposed to others' suffering, such as healthcare, social work, or caregiving roles. Without boundaries, it may lead to empathy fatigue or burnout. 3. Compassionate empathy. Empathic concern. Compassionate empathy takes things a step further. It not only enables us to understand and feel others' emotions, but it also motivates us to take action to help. It's empathy with legs. When someone listens to a grieving friend and also offers practical support like helping with errands or providing a meal, they're demonstrating compassionate empathy. It embodies both the head and heart, understanding, feeling, and responding. This is often the most sustainable and productive form of empathy. It balances care for others with practical action, making it a critical trait for leaders, caregivers, and anyone seeking to make a meaningful difference in others' lives. The barriers to empathy. While empathy is innate to all of us, it is not always easily accessible. Several barriers can block or distort our ability to empathize. 1. Judgment and assumptions. When we approach others with preconceived notions or moral judgments, we cut ourselves off from understanding their experiences. Judgment narrows empathy by making us feel superior, dismissive, or indifferent. Empathy requires a willingness to suspend evaluation and listen with an open mind and heart. 2. Bias and in-group mentality. We are naturally more empathetic toward those we perceive as similar to us. Studies show that people are more likely to empathize with others who share their race, culture, or social background. This unconscious bias can lead to exclusion and dehumanization of those in different outgroups. Overcoming this tendency is essential for inclusive empathy. 3. Emotional burnout. Empathy, especially emotional empathy, can take a toll. When people are constantly exposed to suffering, such as in caregiving or crisis work, they may experience emotional exhaustion. This can lead to detachment or avoidance, a state known as compassion fatigue. 4. Fear of vulnerability. To truly empathize with someone, we must open ourselves emotionally, which can feel risky. Vulnerability is the gateway to connection, but it also exposes us to discomfort and emotional pain. Many people resist empathy for fear of being overwhelmed or feeling helpless. Cultivating empathy. Techniques and practices. Empathy may be natural, but like any skill, it can be developed and strengthened with intention. Here are several powerful practices to cultivate empathy in daily life. 1. Perspective taking. This is the foundation of cognitive empathy. Make it a habit to ask yourself, what might this person be experiencing? What might they be feeling? Suspend your own viewpoint and mentally step into their shoes. Even imagining a day in someone else's life can shift your understanding and response. 2. Active listening. Too often, we listen to respond rather than to understand. Active listening involves giving someone your full attention, without interrupting, multitasking, or jumping to conclusions. Show engagement through eye contact, nodding, reflective comments, and clarifying questions. Let them feel seen and heard. 3. Embrace curiosity over certainty. Approach conversations with the mindset of a learner. Instead of assuming you know what someone is going through, ask open-ended questions. Let their story unfold in their own words. Curiosity invites empathy, while certainty often shuts it down. 4. Practice emotional regulation. Developing emotional empathy without being overwhelmed requires inner awareness and boundaries. Techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness, and journaling can help you stay grounded while connecting emotionally. Recognizing when your empathy is turning into stress or fatigue is key to managing it effectively. 5. Embrace vulnerability. Empathy is not just about receiving, it's also about offering. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite others to do the same. Share your own struggles and emotions when appropriate. Vulnerability fosters mutual understanding and emotional intimacy. Empathy in action. Real-world impact. Empathy isn't just a feel-good concept, it has real, tangible benefits across many aspects of life. In relationships, empathy strengthens bonds, reduces conflict, and deepens intimacy. It helps partners feel valued and understood, and it paves the way for forgiveness and growth. In leadership, empathetic leaders build trust, motivate teams, and create inclusive cultures. Employees are more engaged and loyal when they feel their experiences and perspectives are acknowledged. In education, teachers who show empathy improve student outcomes. Students are more likely to engage and succeed in environments where they feel supported and emotionally safe. In society, empathy fosters tolerance, reduces prejudice, and promotes social justice. When we make an effort to understand others' struggles, particularly those different from our own, we become more compassionate citizens and more effective agents of change. The future of empathy. In a world marked by division, rapid change, and digital overload, empathy is more important and more at risk than ever. Technology has made communication faster but often shallower. Algorithms feed us opinions that reinforce our own, making it harder to see from others' perspectives. And in our rush to solve problems, we often skip the simple but profound act of presence. Yet empathy remains one of the most powerful tools we have to bridge divides, heal wounds, and build resilient communities. It reminds us that beneath our differences, we share common desires: to be seen, heard, and valued. Empathy isn't always easy. It requires effort, patience, and courage. But when we choose to lead with empathy, to sit with someone's pain without trying to fix it, to ask questions instead of assuming, to open our hearts even when it hurts, we create a world that is kinder, more connected, and profoundly human. Empathy is not a weakness. It is a strength, a quiet force that changes lives not with noise, but with presence. As we move through this book and into the deeper applications of social intelligence, remember that empathy is the thread that ties it all together. It is how we understand each other, support each other, and ultimately, grow together. Chapter 4. Navigating Social Dynamics. The most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. Theodore Roosevelt's success in life, whether personal or professional, often hinges on one essential ability: getting along with others. While technical competence and intelligence certainly matter, it's our social intelligence, our ability to read situations, communicate effectively, and build strong relationships that often determines how far we go. Navigating social dynamics, then, is not just a helpful skill, it's a vital one. In this chapter, we explore the intricacies of social dynamics. Social situations are rarely straightforward. They involve unspoken rules, subtle cues, diverse personalities, and, increasingly, a variety of cultural influences. Learning to navigate these dynamics with sensitivity and skill can lead to more meaningful connections, fewer misunderstandings, and greater personal and professional satisfaction. Reading social cues. One of the foundational skills in navigating social dynamics is the ability to read social cues. These cues are the often unspoken signals that help us understand what others are thinking or feeling. They include body language, posture, facial expressions, eye contact, and gestures often reveal more than words. Crossed arms may signal defensiveness, while leaning in shows engagement. A furrowed brow might indicate confusion or concern. Tone of voice. The same sentence can convey different meanings depending on how it's said. A sarcastic tone can make a compliment feel like an insult. Pauses, pitch, and volume all contribute to the emotional content of speech. Context. The situation shapes meaning. A joke among friends may not be appropriate in a boardroom. Understanding the context helps determine what behavior is suitable and how messages will be received. Unspoken emotions. People often mask their true feelings. Detecting discomfort, disinterest, or enthusiasm beneath the surface can help you respond more appropriately and empathetically. To improve your ability to read social cues, pay attention to inconsistencies between words and nonverbal behavior. Observe how people interact with others in a group setting. Reflect on your own reactions. What subtle signals did you pick up? Becoming attuned to these nuances is like learning a new language. The more you observe, the more fluent you become. Building rapport. Rapport is the sense of connection and trust that forms between people during positive interactions. It's the emotional glue that makes conversations flow, ideas resonate, and relationships flourish. While some people naturally build rapport, it is a skill that anyone can learn. Key techniques for building rapport include: 1. Mirroring. This involves subtly matching the other person's body language, tone, or energy level. When done naturally, not forced or obvious, it creates a subconscious sense of harmony. If someone speaks softly and leans in, doing the same can signal mutual interest and comfort. 2. Finding common ground. People are drawn to those who share their values, interests, or experiences. Look for points of connection, be it hobbies, backgrounds, or shared goals. Even small commonalities, like enjoying the same coffee shop or TV show, can spark meaningful dialogue. 3. Genuine interest and curiosity. Asking thoughtful questions and showing sincere curiosity communicates that you value the other person. Avoid superficial small talk in favor of deeper, open-ended questions that invite people to share their stories, feelings, and ideas. 4. Positive reinforcement. Nodding, smiling, and affirming someone's input helps them feel understood and appreciated. People naturally respond to warmth and validation. Building rapport is not about manipulation. It's about creating mutual respect and understanding. It's the foundation upon which trust is built. Managing conflict with grace. No matter how skilled you are socially, conflict is inevitable. Differences in opinions, expectations, and communication styles can lead to tension. The true test of social intelligence is how you respond in these moments. Key principles for managing conflict include: 1. Emotional regulation. In a heated exchange, emotions can quickly take over. Being able to stay calm, breathe deeply, and avoid reactive behavior is crucial. Take a moment to pause before responding. A measured response is more likely to de-escalate the situation than an emotional outburst. 2. Seek first to understand. Often, Conflict stems from misunderstanding. Practice active listening and ask clarifying questions to understand the other person's perspective. A simple, "Can you help me understand what you meant by that?" can open up a more productive dialogue. 3. Use I statements. Communicate your feelings without assigning blame. For example, say, "I felt overlooked when I wasn't included in the meeting," instead of, "You never include me." This reduces defensiveness and invites constructive conversation. 4. Focus on solutions. Shift the focus from what went wrong to how you can move forward. Ask, "What can we do differently next time?" Or, "How can we make sure we're on the same page?" Collaborative problem-solving fosters goodwill. Conflict, when handled well, can actually strengthen relationships by fostering deeper understanding and respect. It's an opportunity for growth, not just a challenge. Cultural influences on social dynamics. As our world becomes more globalized and interconnected, navigating cultural differences is an essential aspect of social intelligence. Culture shapes how we express emotions, communicate, and interpret behavior. For example, in some cultures, direct eye contact is a sign of respect. In others, it may be seen as confrontational. Some cultures value assertiveness and directness, while others prioritize harmony and indirect communication. Norms around personal space, touch, punctuality, and hierarchy can vary widely. Failing to understand these differences can lead to misinterpretation and tension. But approaching cultural diversity with curiosity and humility opens doors to rich, rewarding relationships. Strategies for effective cross-cultural communication to enhance your ability to communicate across cultures. 1. Educate yourself. Learn about different cultural norms, values, and communication styles. Even a basic understanding can go a long way in avoiding misunderstandings. 2. Avoid assumptions. Don't assume your way is the right or normal way. Ask questions and listen with an open mind. Allow people to explain their preferences and practices in their own words. 3. Use clear, simple language. Especially when language barriers exist, avoid idioms, slang, or overly complex language. Speak clearly and check for understanding. 4. Show respect and adaptability. Respect differences, even if they feel unfamiliar. Be willing to adjust your behavior to make others feel comfortable. Flexibility is a mark of high social intelligence. Social dynamics in the digital age. Navigating social dynamics also now involves managing relationships in virtual spaces, through emails, video calls, messaging apps, and social media. Without the benefit of body language or tone, communication can easily be misread. To navigate digital social interactions, be mindful of your tone in writing. What's intended as humor could come off as sarcasm. Use video calls for important or nuanced conversations where visual cues matter. Avoid multitasking during virtual meetings. Being fully present shows respect. Express appreciation and recognition even more intentionally, since digital environments can feel impersonal. The principles of social intelligence apply across platforms but require extra thought in the absence of physical presence. Conclusion: mastering the dance of human interaction. Social dynamics are like a dance, sometimes fast-paced and complex, sometimes slow and subtle. Mastering this dance requires awareness, flexibility, and intention. It's not about being charismatic or extroverted. It's about being attuned to others, to context, and to the silent rhythms that guide interaction. By learning to read cues, build rapport, manage conflict, and embrace cultural differences, we enhance our ability to connect and collaborate. These are not just social niceties. They are the very tools of success in our relationships, our work, and our communities. Navigating social dynamics is not about controlling every interaction. It's about showing up with empathy, openness, and skill. It's knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to lead and when to yield, and how to create space for others to feel seen and valued. In the next chapter, we'll explore how social intelligence functions in leadership and influence, where the ability to navigate human interaction becomes a catalyst for change, vision, and collective growth. But it all begins here, with understanding the complex, beautiful, and sometimes messy reality of human connection. Chapter 5. Mastering Influence and Persuasion. You can have everything in life you want, if you will just help other people get what they want. Zig Ziglar. Influence and persuasion are essential elements of social intelligence. While connecting with others lays the groundwork for trust and rapport, the ability to influence people in meaningful and ethical ways is what moves relationships, ideas, and initiatives forward. Whether we realize it or not, we are constantly engaging in persuasive communication, whether pitching an idea at work, negotiating with a partner, or even convincing a child to try a new vegetable. In this chapter, we'll explore the art and science of influence through psychological principles, practical techniques, and ethical considerations. The goal is not to manipulate, but to understand how people think and make decisions, so that we can communicate in ways that inspire, motivate, and lead. The Psychology of Persuasion. Cialdini's 6 Principles. Renowned psychologist Robert Cialdini has identified 6 key principles of influence that are widely recognized in psychology, marketing, and communication fields. Understanding these principles equips us to persuade more effectively and to recognize when they are being used on us. 1. Reciprocity. People feel obliged to return favors or kindness. When someone gives us something, whether it's time, help, or even a compliment, we naturally want to give something back. This principle can be seen in simple acts like offering to help a colleague, which often encourages mutual support in the future. Application. Be the first to give and do so sincerely. Share valuable information, help others without expectation, and build goodwill. Even small gestures can create powerful bonds of loyalty and influence. 2. Scarcity. We are more likely to value things that are rare or limited. Scarcity creates urgency and desire, whether it's a limited time offer or a rare opportunity. Application. Highlight the unique benefits or limited availability of what you're offering, but always do so truthfully. Scarcity only works when it's genuine. False urgency undermines trust and backfires in the long run. 3. Authority. People tend to follow credible experts. This influence grows when authority is communicated with humility, clarity, and relevance. Application. Establish your credibility by sharing your expertise, qualifications, or experience where appropriate. More importantly, demonstrate competence through action. People respond to those who lead by example. 4. Consistency. People prefer to act in ways that align with their past behavior and values. When they commit to something, especially publicly, they are more likely to follow through. Application. Ask for small, initial commitments that align with your larger goal. Encourage people to articulate their values and then link your request or message to those values. Consistency reinforces identity. 5. Liking. We are more easily persuaded by people we like. This doesn't mean we have to become best friends with everyone, but showing warmth, respect, and similarity helps open doors. Application. Build rapport by finding common ground, expressing genuine appreciation, and being approachable. Authenticity is key. Liking cannot be faked for long. 6. Social proof. People look to others to decide how to act, especially in uncertain situations. Testimonials, reviews, and group behavior influence decisions because they suggest what's accepted or successful. Application. Use examples of how others have benefited from your idea, service, or product. In group settings, emphasize consensus or positive group behavior to encourage similar actions. Influence versus manipulation. Walking the ethical line. As powerful as these principles are, they come with a responsibility. True influence is ethical, transparent, and rooted in mutual benefit. It seeks to inform and inspire, not coerce or deceive. Manipulation, by contrast, exploits psychological triggers for selfish or deceptive purposes. It may succeed in the short term, but it erodes trust, damages relationships, and often leads to backlash. To ensure your influence is ethical, be honest about your intentions. Respect the autonomy and intelligence of others. Avoid exploiting fears or vulnerabilities. Aim for outcomes that benefit all parties. Influence becomes most sustainable when grounded in integrity. People want to follow those they trust, and trust is built over time through consistency, honesty, and care. Framing. Aligning with values and priorities. One of the most effective tools in the art of influence is framing the way you present information to align with the listener's worldview. People are more likely to be persuaded when your message speaks directly to their values, goals, or challenges. For example, if you're proposing a new initiative at work, framing it as a way to improve team morale and reduce stress may resonate more than simply saying, "It's more efficient." It's the same message but tailored to what your audience cares about most. To use framing effectively. Understand what motivates your audience. Speak their language. Use terms and references familiar to them. Present your idea in terms of benefits that matter to them. Anticipate objections and reframe them as opportunities. Framing is not about changing the facts, it's about choosing the most resonant way to present them. The power of storytelling. Another compelling method of persuasion is storytelling. Human beings are wired to respond to stories far more than facts or statistics alone. A well-told story engages both the heart and the mind, making the message more memorable and impactful. Why stories work. They humanize abstract ideas. They create emotional resonance. They show rather than tell. They are easier to recall and retell. Tips for effective storytelling. Use real examples or analogies that your audience can relate to. Focus on characters, conflict, and resolution. Keep it simple and authentic. Connect the story to your core message or call to action. For example, if you're trying to inspire support for a new community initiative, sharing a personal story about someone affected by the issue is likely to be more persuasive than simply citing statistics. Practical influence techniques. Influence is not about having control, it's about creating alignment. Here are some practical tools you can start using today. 1. Ask, don't tell. Questions invite engagement and ownership. Instead of saying, "We should do this," ask, "What do you think about trying this approach?" This not only opens dialogue but also empowers others to contribute. 2. Use the rule of 3. When presenting ideas, organize your points in threes. The human brain processes information more easily in patterns of 3. It's a structure that's both persuasive and memorable. 3. Mirror language. Pay attention to how your listener communicates. Do they prefer formal language or casual conversation? Do they speak in emotional terms or logical terms? Mirror their style to build rapport and increase receptiveness. 4. Create a shared vision. People are more likely to support ideas that reflect their identity or aspirations. Frame your message in terms of collective goals and shared success. 5. Follow up and reinforce. Persuasion is not always instant. Reinforce your message over time with reminders, encouragement, and evidence of progress. Influence is often cumulative. Influence in action. Everyday examples. Influence happens in countless small moments. A parent guides a child through a difficult choice by asking questions and listening. A teacher motivates students by telling stories that link the curriculum to their lives. A team leader gains buy-in for a project by framing it as a chance to innovate and grow. A friend persuades another to adopt healthier habits by sharing their journey. Mastering influence means recognizing these moments and responding with empathy, clarity, and purpose. Conclusion. Influence as a force for good. Influence is one of the most powerful tools in social intelligence, not because it grants control, but because it enables collaboration, inspires action, and fosters mutual understanding. When used ethically and with care, it becomes a force for good, helping people make better decisions, solve problems together, and build relationships rooted in trust. As Zig Ziglar wisely noted, success often comes from helping others succeed. True influence is not about pushing your agenda, but about connecting deeply with others, understanding what matters to them, and aligning your message in a way that serves everyone's best interest. In the next chapter, we'll explore how social intelligence and influence intersect with leadership. How great leaders inspire not just through authority, but through presence, empathy, and the art of meaningful connection. Chapter 6. The Future of Social Intelligence. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Unknown. As we move further into the 21st century, the landscape of human interaction is evolving at an unprecedented pace. Advances in technology, changing workplace dynamics, global interconnectedness, and shifting societal values are redefining the ways we connect, communicate, and collaborate. Amid these changes, one timeless human trait stands out as more essential than ever: social intelligence. Social intelligence, the ability to navigate social environments with empathy, insight, and skill, is no longer just a soft skill. It is becoming a cornerstone of success, leadership, and well-being in an increasingly complex world. This final chapter explores how social intelligence is adapting to the demands of modern life, its growing importance in leadership and education, and how individuals can cultivate this vital trait for a better future. The digital age and the changing nature of connection. Technology has revolutionized the way we communicate. Social media platforms, instant messaging, video conferencing, and AI-powered tools have made it possible to connect with anyone, anywhere, at any time. But while these innovations offer unprecedented convenience, they also present new challenges for authentic human connection. Digital communication often lacks the rich non-verbal cues, facial expressions, tone, body language that form a crucial part of social intelligence. A sarcastic comment over text can be misinterpreted as rudeness. A well-intentioned critique might come across as harsh or cold. In this environment, the subtleties of emotional nuance can be easily lost. Moreover, social media platforms, while designed to bring people together, can sometimes have the opposite effect. Filter bubbles, comparison culture, and performative communication can erode real empathy and distort interpersonal dynamics. It's easier than ever to project an image rather than share authentic emotions. To thrive in this new world, we must develop digital social intelligence, the ability to read between the lines in written communication, respond thoughtfully in virtual spaces, and maintain emotional presence despite physical distance. It also means setting boundaries to ensure that online interaction complements, rather than replaces, in-person relationships. Balancing online and offline life is crucial. A phone call or face-to-face conversation often carries more emotional weight than dozens of likes or emoji reactions. The future demands a hybrid approach, one that values the speed and reach of technology but doesn't sacrifice the depth of real connection. Social intelligence in leadership. Leadership is no longer defined by authority or control, but by the ability to inspire, unite, and empower. In this context, social intelligence becomes not just a useful trait but a decisive advantage. Leaders with high social intelligence communicate with clarity and empathy, understand and respond to their team's emotional needs, navigate conflict with tact and fairness, cultivate trust and psychological safety, led by example, creating inclusive and respectful cultures. Consider a case study of Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. Upon taking leadership, Nadella emphasized empathy as a core leadership principle. Rather than focusing solely on performance metrics, he transformed Microsoft's culture to value learning, listening, and humility. The result: a reinvigorated workforce, increased innovation, and a remarkable turnaround in company performance. Another example is Jacinda Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand, whose leadership during crises like the Christchurch mosque shootings and the COVID-19 pandemic was marked by compassion, transparency, and emotional intelligence. Her ability to speak to people's fears and hopes, not just their logic, earned global admiration. These leaders prove that connection drives performance. Teams thrive when they feel seen, heard, and supported. In the future, leadership will rely less on technical superiority and more on the human capacity to connect meaningfully. Lifelong development of social intelligence. Social intelligence is not fixed. It's a dynamic ability that can be nurtured throughout life. The key to ongoing growth lies in self-awareness, reflection, and a growth mindset. Self-awareness. To improve how we relate to others, we must first understand ourselves. What are our communication habits? How do we handle feedback? Where might our assumptions or biases interfere with connection? Regular self-reflection through journaling, feedback, or mindful observation helps us recognize these patterns and evolve. Reflection. Learning from past social experiences, both successful and challenging, is critical. Reflection allows us to ask, what went well in that interaction? What could I have done differently? How did I make others feel? This process transforms everyday experiences into learning opportunities. Growth mindset. A growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through effort, applies as much to social skills as it does to academics or athletics. Embracing the idea that we can become better communicators, listeners, or leaders through practice empowers us to invest in our social development without fear of failure. Like a muscle, social intelligence grows stronger with use. And just like physical fitness, it requires consistency, curiosity, and commitment. Social intelligence in education and the workplace. For social intelligence to shape the future, it must be embedded in the systems that shape us, particularly education and work. In education, the traditional focus on academic achievement is gradually expanding to include emotional and social learning. Schools and universities are beginning to recognize that teaching children how to empathize, collaborate, and communicate is just as important as teaching math or science. Programs that integrate SEL, social and emotional learning, help students build self-awareness, manage emotions, and develop healthy relationships. These skills don't just improve classroom behavior, they lay the foundation for success in every area of life. Imagine a future where social intelligence is taught intentionally, with the same rigor and enthusiasm as reading or coding. Where students graduate not only with knowledge but with the emotional tools to lead, connect, and make a difference. In the workplace, employers are increasingly prioritizing soft skills in hiring and promotion decisions. Teamwork, adaptability, empathy, and communication are no longer nice to have, they're business critical. Forward-thinking companies are investing in emotional intelligence training, diversity and inclusion programs, and collaborative leadership models. Workplaces that foster psychological safety, where employees feel free to speak up, make mistakes, and be authentic, consistently outperform more rigid or hierarchical environments. As automation and AI handle more technical tasks, the human elements of work, relationship building, creativity, and emotional insight will become the most valuable differentiators. In this future, social intelligence is not an add-on, it is a central competency. A vision for the future. Imagine a future where kindness, empathy, and understanding are not just personal values but cultural norms. Where leaders are chosen not just for their ambition but for their ability to connect. Where technology supports, not replaces, human connection. Where social intelligence is considered essential to education, leadership, and citizenship. This future is possible, but only if we choose to prioritize it. The path forward is not about perfection, but intention. Every time we choose to listen fully, to respond with empathy, to seek understanding over judgment, we are investing in a better world. Social intelligence gives us the tools not just to succeed but to uplift others as we do. Final thoughts. The future of social intelligence is not something we wait for, it is something we create. It starts with each of us, learning, reflecting, and choosing connection over division. In a world of constant change, our capacity to care, to relate, and to understand one another may well be our most enduring strength. So, as the quote reminds us, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Because in the end, the future of social intelligence is the future of humanity itself. Conclusion. Social intelligence is not a fixed trait, it is a dynamic, evolving skill that anyone can cultivate with awareness, intention, and practice. Throughout this book, we have explored its many dimensions. From understanding empathy and reading social cues to navigating complex dynamics, mastering influence, and embracing connection in a digital age. What makes social intelligence so powerful is its profound impact on every area of life. It shapes how we relate to others, resolve conflicts, lead with compassion, and create environments of trust and collaboration. Whether you are building a career, strengthening personal relationships, or striving to make a positive difference in your community, social intelligence is your greatest ally. The techniques and principles outlined here are more than just tools. They are invitations to live more mindfully, to communicate with greater clarity, and to connect more authentically. Like any meaningful growth, developing social intelligence requires reflection, patience, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. But the reward is worth it. Deeper relationships, stronger influence, and a life enriched by genuine human connection. As you move forward, remember that every interaction is an opportunity to practice, to grow, and to lead with empathy. By doing so, you not only elevate your own life, you also help create a world where understanding, kindness, and collaboration can truly thrive. Thank you for listening to Social Intelligence, the art of human connection in a complex world, until the very end. We hope you found the insights and guidance helpful as you navigate your own journey. If you enjoyed this book and found it relatable, please consider sharing it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content that speaks to your experiences and aspirations. Your support means a lot to us. Until next time, keep exploring and pursuing your passions.